What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmalesummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com and register these young men so that they can get what they need in order to be successful in life. What happened to Takeoff in the city of Houston should not have happened. But the sad part about it is that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men every single day in this city and around this country. When we mourn the death of Takeoff, we mourn the death not of a rapper, but we mourn the death of a black man who just happened to rap. When I'm in the face of my own brothers, I gotta stay dangerous. In the face of my own brothers, we cannot rest until we get to the point where, as a black man, I feel most comfortable in front of my brother and not most vulnerable to be killed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is more qualified to teach black boys about what they're going through than black men who have already been through it. Bring him to the Smarten Up Black Male Summit, December 10th at St. John's Downtown, 2019 Crawford at 1 p.m. Go to blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com. That's blackmailsummit.eventbrite.com.
Family, could you please come down, fill in the seats in front of you, family? Could you please fill in the seats in front of you? Please come down, fill in the seats in front of you. We're not sitting at the back of the bus no more. We're sitting in first class. Yes. If we could, let's get everybody in. We're about to get started. Brother Darnell. We're not live yet, are we? We live? Okay. Yes, sir. We're live. All right. Let me first say thank you so much for showing up and being on time. One thing, if I've learned nothing else in life, is that we have to always be respectful and mindful of time. God is our friend, but time ain't got no friends. Is that right? All right. Okay, before we get started, I want to first say thank you to St. John's Downtown, Pastor Rudy Rasmus, First Lady Juanita Rasmus, Pastor Tiffany, and the entire staff at St. John's for giving us a landing strip to land this plane called the Black Male Summit. Could you please join me in giving them a round of applause? Thank you, St. John's Downtown. And we would also like to thank our marquee sponsor, the City of Houston Health Department, the My Brother's Keeper My Brother's Keeper Initiative, the My Brother's Keeper Initiative, the Community Reentry Network, and all of the other programs with the Houston Health Department. Let's give them a round of applause for helping us to make this possible. All right, we would be foolish and ingrates to start this program off without starting it off in prayer. So we would ask Brother Pastor Jamel Johnson, could you please come and jump this thing off for us? Let's give Pastor Jamel a round of applause. And we're going to get right into the program.
All right, let us bow. Dear God, we're grateful to be here today for an occasion such as this, to have an unapologetic, unfiltered conversation, dialogue, to ensure that the lives and the futures of our young Black boys are saved. I thank you, God, for my brother Deric, for continuing to keep this vision at the forefront of his mind, because it is through this visions that seeds have been planted for years that we may not even know have caused a harvest to come forth. And that's our prayer today, that as we mount these platforms and that as we speak, that what comes out of our mouths turns into seeds that are planted. And while a system may have a place for these Black boys, we have come today to snatch them out of that system's grip and to throw them in the stratosphere to become whatever they have dreamed that they can be, because with you, all things are possible. We give this space back to you today. In respects to all faiths, we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Johnson. Let's give Pastor Johnson a round of applause for a beautiful prayer. Now, we are streaming live from the African Diaspora News Channel. So there will be those who will be watching, not just from different cities and states throughout the country, but there are those who are watching from different countries. And there's a big following in Africa that's watching the Black Male Summit right now as we speak. So we want to say thank you to the African Diaspora News Channel for allowing us to stream live to its 1.3 million followers. Let's give them a round of applause. Owned by a Black man, if I may add. All right, now let me explain to you, those of you who are just tuning in, what the Black Male Summit is and what it is about. The Black Male Summit is an unapologetic, real talk conversation that we have to have with our boys, our young men, and Black men in general. Those things that we believe that Black boys should be taught, like how to conduct yourself when pulled over by law enforcement. Do you realize that that's a different conversation than a white mother would have to have with her white son? Do you realize that's a different conversation, right? Well, we're here to have the conversation that needs to be had. We have to have conversations about the dropout rate and why Black boys are uninterested in going to school. It is not because they're dumb, because they're not. It's not that they are unintelligent. It is not that they are just unable to do the work, but it is because in most cases, they are uninspired. Is that right? And many of them are uninspired because less than 2% of the teachers in America are Black male. So they have to spend 8 hours a day in an institution where they don't see men that look like them, walk like them, talk like them, if we don't give these young boys something to aspire to be, then we cannot expect them to land where God created them to land. In order to be something different, they have to see something different. So today, we want to present some strong brothers who have some great presentations. And our goal is that these young men will see something different, so they'll want to be something different, and that they will be inspired and not uninspired. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. Now, the program is going to move fast. You don't have to worry about any long speeches. We don't believe in long speeches at the Black Male Summit. Every person that comes before you is going to get to the point. But what I need you to do, young brothers, I need for you to focus like you have never focused before. I don't need your little girlfriend on your mind right now. You got time for that, right? You can deal with that later. The video game you played last night, I need for you to block that out, okay? Put your phone down. Put your phone on mute, or what do they call it? Airplane mode, whatever it is. I don't need you paying attention to your phone right now, because somebody is going to say something from this microphone that could not only save your life, but could help you to become successful in life. Do you understand? So today we gotta focus. What we gotta do today? I can't hear you. What we gotta do today? We gotta focus. Now, I wanted to start the Black Male Summit off with giving a small, short talk about the death of our brother Takeoff. Who in here knows who Takeoff is? Raise your hand. He was a member of the group called what? Migos, right? So there are 3 members of the group. You got Takeoff. Who else? Offset. And who else? Quavo. Okay. Quavo woke up this morning and went about his day. Offset woke up this morning and was able to go about his day. But Takeoff didn't wake up this morning. Why? Yes, because he lost his life. And we know the other day they arrested somebody for the murder of Takeoff, but we're not here to talk about that today. We don't know who killed Takeoff. Our concern is what killed Takeoff, okay? Now, you heard it said on the video that I just played that what happened to Takeoff happens to black men and boys every single day. Is that right? How many of you watch the nightly news and you see us dying like 90 going north, dying like crazy every single day? Okay, well, if you can't stop that from happening to the common man, then you will never be able to stop it from happening to the famous person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what happened to Takeoff is just the celebrity version of what happens every single day. Our goal is to stop it from happening every single day. And if we can stop it from happening every day, then we can stop it from happening to our brothers like Takeoff, who are celebrities and who are well known. Am I making sense? My message to the young brothers today is this. I remember when I was 14 years old and one of my friends got shot and killed. It was the first time that it really sunk in that I was not too young to die. It was the first time that it sunk in that if I didn't watch how I moved, and if I were not careful how I maneuvered, then I could put myself in a situation where my mother would be burying me instead of me burying my mother. You do know that it is the natural order of things for parents and grandparents to bury their children. You know that's right. All right. So whenever you see a mother or a grandmother having to, a child having, did I get that wrong? Now, I would lie and say I did that on purpose just to test y'all, but I really got it mixed up. But check this out. It's not my fault that I got it mixed up. You know why? Because everything is all mixed up. So it's the natural order of things for children and grandchildren to bury their parents and grandparents. Did I get it right that time? Give me a round of applause. So whenever we see grandparents and mothers burying their grandchildren and children, we know that something unnatural is taking place. There is an atmosphere out here that we have to be mindful of. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm talking to your soul real quick. Hey, there is a war going on outside that none of us are safe from. So if we are not careful how we move, then you could get caught up in that war and simply be an innocent bystander, having your mother and your grandmother bury you before your time. What did they say happened to Takeoff? They say he got caught in the wrong place at the what? At the wrong time. Now, it's not Takeoff's fault. Takeoff should have been able to go to a party, enjoy himself, and make it home. But somebody in that room had an unnatural thought that took his life. Let me ask you a question. What animal is the king of the jungle? I can't hear you. What animal is the king of the jungle? All right. Now, there's this other ugly little animal that's always annoying the lion. What is it? A hyena. Okay. Now, let me ask a question to the youngsters in the room. Can a hyena defeat a lion in a fight? I can't hear you. Can a hyena defeat a lion in a fight? All right. Now, so I want you to picture this hyena looking at this lion, wishing that it could defeat him. All right. And the lion is paying no attention to the hyena. But then another strong lion comes along, and the two lions are facing off. Okay. The lions both have big egos. That means they think they're bad, right? So they decide that they want to start fighting. So these two lions are fighting. Check this out. One of the lions kills the other lion. But in killing that lion, he hurts himself so bad that he could barely walk, right? Follow what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. So in the beginning, the hyena didn't have a chance against the lion. Am I right? But now that same hyena is looking at the dead lion. He gonna eat that dead lion. And he's also looking at the hurt lion who cannot defend himself. Do you see how fast tables turn when brothers start fighting brothers? Do you see how we go from being powerful to powerless when we fight one another, when we kill one another? So today I want us to make up in our minds that we'll be mindful of the African proverb that says, when two brothers fight to the death, it is an enemy that inherits that land. That means that you as a little black boy, when you look at another black boy, you are not looking at your enemy, you are looking at your brother. You as a little black boy, when you look at another black boy, you're looking at somebody that you want to build with, not somebody that you want to kill with. Do you understand what I'm saying? So before I allow the program to go forward, does everybody have a tea light in there? If you got a light in your hand, raise your hand. All right? Raise your hand. I need you there's a little switch at the bottom. If you turn it on, yeah, you could turn the light on. There it is. That's what we want to do at the Black Male Summit today. We want to turn the light on. Okay, if we could, let's get everybody to stand up, right? And if we could bring the lights down, We wanted to start today's Black Male Summit with a tribute to our brother Takeoff. It's important that we make a tribute to Takeoff and make the point to Atlanta and every other city in the nation, Mayor Turner, that what happened to Takeoff in this city is not necessarily of this city. And we don't condone the killing of Takeoff or any innocent bystander or other Black man who may be losing his life in the war that's going on outside. So I need for you to raise your candle in the sky as loud as you can, as high as you can, excuse me. Candles in the sky, candles in the sky. And I want you to repeat after me. I am not my brother's enemy. I am not my brother's op. I am not my brother's competition. My brother is my brother. My brother is my brother. I pledge to stop the violence. I pledge to stop the jealousy. I pledge to stop the killing. I pledge to be the best that I can be. This is the most important one. I pledge to stay alive. 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 When I say long live, you say take off. Long live, long live, long live, long live. Welcome to the Black Male Summit. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, we want to move swiftly, quickly, but efficiently. Our next presenter is the brother that you saw give the prayer, and he's about to show you that he gives way more than prayers. He is a very dynamic speaker. He's a type of brother that speaks so eloquently and so sharply that it penetrates your soul. He is the pastor of the Word Church. He's the president of the local chapter of 100 Black Men and many other things. If I stayed up here running down his resume, I'd be up here all day long and I would have preached a whole nother sermon. Just join me in giving it up for Pastor Jamel Johnson. Let's go.
All right. Good afternoon to everybody. Come on, y'all talk back to me. Good afternoon to everybody. All right. Once again, I want to thank my brother Deric. Last time I was here, he gave me 20 minutes. But he said today that everybody get to what they saying and get out the way. So if he gave me 20 minutes again, I'm going to give y'all 8 of that back. So I'm going to try to do this in 12. My name is Jamel Johnson. As Deric mentioned, a long list of a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things that I'm most proud of, or 2 things I'm most proud of, first being the CIO of my own company. On paper, I'm the CEO, but I call myself the CIO, the Chief Inspirational Officer of Increase Me, and that me is momentum effectively. So increase momentum effectively. It's my job or my responsibility to help people wherever they are be inspired to move forward. But the second thing that I'm most proud of is to be the son of a retired educator, Tommy Johnson, who taught in North Forest for 40 years. Had a conversation with a gentleman that's from New York, and I talked to him about my mom, and I mentioned North Forest and how long she stayed there. He said, oh, she an OG. She real. Don't nobody stay in North Forest for that long. So if you could understand where I come from, the reason why I'm here today is because I continue to keep who she was going every time I open my mouth. Now, she's still living, but every time I look at her, I think about how we look at people in Black history. And those people in Black history, our Medgar Evers, our Mary McLeod Bethune, even our Malcolm X, our Martin Luther Kings, and we think that those people are far off. But my mom participated in sit-ins here in the city of Houston. So I think about her as being one of my Black history heroes. Every time I speak, I always try to find a way to engage everybody in the audience to ensure that nobody's left untouched. So the last time I spoke, I did an age test to see who I was talking to. So if you are between the age of 8 months to 88 years old, raise your hand. All right, I think that covers everybody. And if you got a baby in here that's under 8 months, press record on your phone so they can listen to this. And if you are over 88, come up here and let me give you the mic so I can listen to you. Last time I was here, I talked about I am, the undeniable power of self. I wanted to run that back, but I didn't know if I would have the same audience, and I didn't want to bore you. I pastor a church. I pastor the Word Church, one of the most dynamic virtual churches in the world. And I don't ever like coming preaching the same message over and over again, so I wouldn't dare come and do that. But something stuck with me about this, I am. Because I think that it's something in that I am, and I'm not going to run that back, but I think it's something in that I am that I need to pull out of that. Because when I think about I am, I think about two of the most powerful words that exist in this universe. I am. Even Jesus, that black dude from Nazareth that had the long hair like lamb's wool, he said that I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. I believe the reason why he was able to do the things that he wanted to do, the reason why he was able to get out of a boat and walk on water is because he believed in who he was. He knew who he was before he got in the boat. So he knew that I am a water walker. But I didn't want to look at I am today because I saw two other important words that I want to kind of leave with you today. And I felt real good about these two words because I hadn't even talked to my brother Deric. But when I came in and I was given a piece of paper that had excuses on it, and I was instructed before you even walk in here to tear up that piece of paper, that was powerful all within itself. Because that let me know that none of us in here right now have any excuses. No excuse to succeed. No excuse to be successful. No excuse to get it out the mud. No excuses. We just tore that up and it's in that trash can. But I did a study, and I'm a student at Nature, and I did a study. We can go to the next slide. And I saw something that stuck out to me. It said, according to the University of Scranton, 92% of people who set New Year's goals never achieved them. That leaves 8% of goal achievers. We're less than 20 days away. A little over 20 days going into the new year. And there's going to a whole bunch of people talking about new year, new me. But this stuck out to me because this mindset is not just for the new year. This study encompasses the world that we live in. If you look at that number, 92% of people who say that they want to do something, 92% of the people that say that they are going to achieve something never do, only 8%. And then Inc.com began to break down 5 steps of how and why these 8%ers were able to be successful. And I couldn't get past number 1. Next slide. Number 1, it started off by saying that anybody that's successful, they began with an end in mind. That's vision. They see the end. They see themselves at whatever they want to do. I am the president of the 100 Black Men of Metropolitan Houston. Our motto is what they see is what they will be. It all begins with what's in your mind. It begins with vision. Next slide. It begins with vision. Matter of fact, there is a scripture in a book that I reference every Sunday that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I've heard that scripture over and over and over and over again. But nobody ever forced me to turn that scripture over. Because if one side of the coin says where there is no vision, the people perish, then obviously the other side of the coin means that if you got vision, you can do whatever you want to do. That if you have vision, you can go wherever you want to go. And if you have vision, you can become whatever you want to become. If you have vision like this one black man did, you can find 100 things to do with a peanut if you have vision. But the problem with many of us today in the year of our Lord 2022 is that many of us, our visions are stifled because we're still waiting for somebody else to give us permission. All right, I'm about to land this plane real quick. We're looking for somebody to give us permission. Next slide. We're looking for somebody to give us permission. So today I want to talk about I can. Not I am, but I can. I believe I can is just a stretch from what we were. Think about being something more than what you have seen ever in your family, anybody in your bloodline. When you begin to think about that, yes, that's vision. But the only way that you are able to see that vision become a reality is that you believe that I can. If you're between the age of 8 months to 88, can I just hear it resound in this building until those seats upstairs start to tremble? Can we shout with everything that's in us and say, I can? Yeah. Love that. Somebody probably would have told him, be quiet. Here, do you know what just happened right there? We screamed, I can, and he came behind us and echoed it. Whatever we are screaming in the streets, it's being echoed generations behind us. So we can continue to talk about these kids, these kids, these kids, but we were raising these kids in the early 2000s. We were their pictures. We were their poster childs. And if we're still waiting for somebody else in 2022 to give us permission to be who I believe that the God of the cosmos created us to be, because again, I'm not here to preach, but in that same book, we were created in his image, in his likeness. We are like him. We are him. There's even a scripture that talks about ye are gods. Because how can I be a child of God and not be a child of God? Me being a child of Arthur Johnson, my daddy, I'm not a child of a human being and now aspire to be a monkey. I'm the child of another human being, which makes me be who he is. But if I have been given that God blueprint that's inside of me, if I have been given that deity, if I have been given that kingdom assignment to have authority wherever I go and I can do whatever I want to do, why are we still sitting on the outside waiting for somebody to give us access to a door that's on the inside and probably don't want us on the inside in the first place? Do you know how intimidated people are when they can ever see black men come together as one? Do you ever see how intimidated people are when they see young black boys are able to pull up their pants, and not, as my brothers say, not just their pants, but they're pulling up their minds at the same time? We make them fearful. We are a threat to them. And that's why they attempt to dilute the strong black coffee that we are and try to weaken us. But I'm here today to say with a resounding yes, that if you put your can with my can, we can change this world. Now, I got 5 power statements that I want to give you, and I'm done. I said that I was going to be done in 12 minutes. I got 3 minutes. So with your help, we're going to rock this 3 minutes, all right? 5 power statements, because whatever comes out of your mouth is what you will see. Whatever comes out of your mouth is what you will see. Touch that person next to you. Make sure that they haven't gone to sleep yet. Tell them what comes out of your mouth is what you shall see. And whenever you want to change what you see, change what you say. That's cool. I love crowd participation. I grew up in a Baptist church where I hear, preach, boy, come on, step on it, get on their neck. I'm used to it. I can take whatever y'all throw at me. But I want to give y'all 5 I can power statements that you will leave from this Black Male Summit as a young black man, as a young black teen, a young black boy, a middle-aged black man, a black pawpaw, and you will go home and you will allow these words to be the soundtrack of your life. Next slide. The first one is, I can believe in myself. I want you to say that. I can believe in myself. I'm just going to give you this quote. This quote here, next slide, from Gandhi says, men often become what they believe themselves to be. You don't stumble into failure. You woke up and believed that you couldn't do it. And everything in the cosmos agreed with how you saw yourself. Gandhi say men often become what they believe themselves to be. If I believe I cannot do something, it makes me incapable of doing it. But when I believe I can, then I acquire. Everything now starts working for me. I start bumping into people that can help me do it. I start now finding tools, and I start now sharpening my edge to become all that I was created to be, because I said that I could do it. I acquired the ability to do it even if I didn't have it in the beginning. See how important believing in yourself is before you even get started? I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to keep flying. I can do anything. I can do anything. I can do anything. And I need to come and just let you know, it ain't just for them. It's not just for them. Because it's somebody telling them right now at 6 that they can become whatever they want to become. You could be an astronaut. You could be a doctor. You could be a dentist. You could be a chemist. But all I can tell you to do is play football. You can do anything. And if that don't work, take it as a lesson learned. Figure out what you didn't do right. Sharpen up your axe and start swinging that blade again the next day. But don't ever accept failure, because failure is not in our DNA. I can do it. Y'all, man, y'all got to say that like y'all mean it. I can do anything. Next slide. I'm full of, whoa, that's not a quote. That's a scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I know y'all heard that in church before. And to some of y'all, if y'all went to a real good church, especially them churches in the 4-4, somebody say this, old mother might rear back, her hat might come off. Hallelujah! But when you say I can do all things, what we fail to tell you is we put a whole bunch of responsibility on Christ Jesus and we take the responsibility off ourselves. Ooh. You in the church saying that? Yes, I am. Because it said I can do. So if I don't believe I can do it, I now buffet the strength of Christ. I'm telling Christ, no, that's not for me. I don't have enough money. I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. He done knocked the door down and you still at the back door trying to make an entrance where a back door does not exist. All right. Can y'all give me like some Love Jones vibe? That was some snaps right there. Come on, man. I felt that. I felt that in my spirit. I think it's another quote behind that. Never doubt what you can do, because you can do anything you set your mind to do it. Come on, let me get you number 3. I'm pretty much at my seat, y'all. Number 3, I can stay focused. You started off with that word. Focus. 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 Say that. I can stay focused. I can stay focused. Some of y'all brought y'all young boys in here, your nephews, your grandsons, and y'all didn't know I was about to get your whole life together, because 2023 is the year of better. But if we don't get better in our mind, 2023 will be an elongated 2022. But one of the major things we got to do as a people, stay focused. Why do you think Apple got a screen time on your phone to tell you how long you've been staring at it? If you're going to stare at your phone, make some money on it. I can stay focused. This is a quote here from one of the greatest basketball players that ever played the game, Kobe Bean Bryant. He said, I focus on one thing and one thing only. That's trying to win as many championships as I can. People had a whole bunch of negative stuff to say about Kobe, but he has what is called the Black Mamba mentality. When he stepped on that court, he did not see anybody that could defeat him. He did not see a bucket that he couldn't make. He did not see a shot that he would not take. He saw championships and he stayed focused on it. That's why now you have people that talk about Kobe that wanted to work out at 4 o'clock in the morning when they had just come in from the club at 2. It's because Kobe had championship on their mind and they were just happy to get their picture taken. Who am I talking to that it is your season to step into the championship ring? It's enough selfies on your social media. We need to see you with some trophies. All right. Number 4, I can own it. I can own it. Say, I want you to say that. I can own it. I can own it. Now, this piece is talking about owning it, owning who you are, owning your project, owning your future, owning your campaign, owning who you are. But I want to even stretch it a bit further. Can I say this? I can own it. My brother Chad will come behind me, and I know he's probably going to give y'all the game, but I can own it, and I want to take that a step further in 2023. We're going to have to start owning some stuff, because that's the only way that anybody outside of our community will ever respect us. The reason why we can't get respect is because we need them for what they have, because we don't own nothing. We are consumers and not producers. But whenever you get some land, you can start producing. Whenever you get some land, you can start building. Whenever you get some land, you can now control the infrastructure of your community. I can own it. 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 Let me give you this quote. Jeff Hayton says, just pick a goal you truly want to achieve, and take a clear-eyed look at your weaknesses. Not so you'll feel less confident, but so you can determine exactly what you need to work on. Then get to work. Celebrate small successes, analyze your weaknesses, keep going. As you gain skill, you will also gain a feeling of genuine confidence, one that can never be taken away because you've earned it. Who need to take a picture of that and put that on your refrigerator? You got it? This is the last one. This is my last power statement, and I'm taking my seat. Next slide. Oh, this is Diddy. I want to give you this. Diddy said, nobody's going to take you to the front of the line unless you push your way to the front of the line. Nobody's going to take you to the front of the line. If you own it, you got your own line. If you own it, you're building your own table, and you're not waiting for anybody to do anything for you. This is my last point, and I'm done. Next slide. I can collaborate. I can collaborate. I can collaborate. I believe that if I can be honest as I'm walking down these steps, this is the greatest Achilles heel of our African American community. It's a whole bunch of us out here killing it, man. We doing it. We'll have a greater impact. This last quote, next slide, and I'm taking my seat. It says, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. This next slide gives you all of those power statements, and I want these to become your daily affirmation beginning today. Don't wait till 2023. Begin today. And the moment that you begin to believe that you can, you will. God bless you.
Man, don't be stingy with the love. Give it up for Pastor Jamel Johnson. Powerful word. Powerful word. Now, as I come up in between speakers, I'm going to drop a few statistics on us, right? Is that all right with y'all? Is that okay? So I read a statistic last night that said that 38% of gun violence homicides among youth are black youth, 38% of them. But black youth only represent 2% of the population. Message to parents. One of the reasons that our young people have become so violent is because it's easy for us to have discussions about stopping the violence. But what about the violent words that are spoken to them as they're coming up from little shorties? As Pastor Jamel Johnson said, you know, I can. How many times have mothers and fathers told their children what they can't do? See, can't is a cuss word. I'm going to say it again. Can't is a cuss word, a four-letter word. You have to watch your mouth when you're speaking to your children. When you speak down to your children begin to believe that they don't have value. And if they don't believe that their life has value, then they won't believe that their brother's life has value. So it is easy for them to kill their brother because somebody has made them to believe that their life had no value, but it started with the words that were spoken to that child. So today I want to give everybody in this place a nickname. How many of y'all got nicknames? Raise your hand. All right, put your hand. You know when your grandmother gives you a nickname, you got a nickname. Boo-boo. If you cry too much, they call you baby. Head. They used to call me head. I wonder why they used to call me. I still don't know why they used to call me that. I got a cousin in here, Brother Deric Childress. They call him head too. We come from the same bloodline, but we don't know why they call us these nicknames. But today I want to give everybody a nickname. Is that all right? because everybody in this room doesn't know who's sitting next to him. Today, everybody in this room's nickname is greatness. That's your name today. So if you're passing by one another on the way to the restroom, on the way to registration, going in and out of the building, just say, "What's up, greatness? How you doing, greatness? Come here, young man. I don't know you. You don't know me. Let me shake your hand. I expect nothing but greatness out of you." Because what you call somebody ultimately becomes what they become, because you're giving them something to live up to, right? So greatness sounds a whole lot better than the N-word, right? I ain't gonna say it. We in church and whatnot. So everybody's got a nickname today. And your nickname is what? Your nickname is what? Your nickname is what? Yeah, because that's what you are born to become. Now, our next presenter is going to be a quick sit-down interview while we're talking about greatness. And before I do that, let me give a shout-out to all of the mothers who are here with their sons and their grandsons. Give them a round of applause. Without the sisters, the Black Male Summit would not be what it is. Let's give them another round of applause. And I want to say to you young brothers, if you ever want to ruin your credit score with God, be disrespectful to your mother. I'm going to leave that right there. So as we speak about greatness, I want to bring up someone who I am greatly inspired by. He's certainly a brother who has accomplished a lot in life. You know what we say? If they don't see something different, they not going to want to be something different. But this brother, he's accomplished a lot in life, but he has not forgotten where he came from. So greatness, when you go and you get those, high marks in life, don't forget where you came from. Because if you forget where you came from, then it might look like you're a success, but you're really a failure. Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. Let's give it up to the mayor of the fourth largest city in the United States of America, Dr. Mayor Sylvester Turner. Give it up. Can I get a second microphone up here, please? I think it's right over there. Excuse me. Brothers and sisters, we got the mayor here. Is that right? Right. Let me first say, before we get started, that Mayor Sylvester Turner has been a supporter and an advocate of the Black Male Summit even long before he was the mayor of the city of Houston. Let's give him a round of applause for that. So what I want to ask the mayor is why it is so important that even at this stage in the development of his success in life, why is it so important that you come back to speak to these young brothers today?
Well, thank you, Mr. Greatness. Look, and we've been saying it all since we've been here. Pastor Jay said it. I mean, people can be what they can see.
Yes, sir.
So it's important. It's important for these young boys and brothers to be able to see, number one, people who grew up in the same type of neighborhoods that they did. I grew up in Acres Home, the north side of 4-4. And, came through, neither parent, graduated from high school. But, went on to school, served, became a lawyer in the legislature, and now mayor of the fourth largest city. So it is important for people to see, and these guys to see, that you can grow up in the neighborhood, okay? But then at the same time, you can navigate through the system, and you can end up being the mayor of the fourth largest and the most diverse city. So it's important for me to be here to say that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, many of us in this room come from what they call humble beginnings. That means we grew up poor. We didn't have a lot of resources. Mama didn't have a lot. Daddy didn't have a lot. So we had to do what my grandmother called make do. Anybody here heard that term, make do? All right. So what I wanted to say to the mayor is what astonishes me about his story is how his mother was a maid. Am I correct?
At the Rice Hotel downtown.
At the Rice Hotel downtown. His mother was a maid at the Rice Hotel downtown. And you know, we have this thing called generational wealth, right? Well, it always amazed me at how, listen to me, in just one generation, you went, or your family goes from being the maid at the Rice Hotel to being the mayor of the fourth largest city in America. Now, if you walk into the Rice Hotel, everybody would stand up and, oh my God, the mayor's here. But they didn't stand up for your mother. Right. But wait, in one generation, they usually take 4, 5, 6 generations. Could you tell us, how do you go from maid to mayor in one generation?
And look, and I do want to give a lot of credit to both my parents. My dad died of cancer when I was 13. My dad was a yard man. Go across town, cut people yards, took his boys with him, but he was a hard worker. And I saw him get up every single day and go and work. That's what I saw my dad. I saw him sit at the table with my mom, and they figured out how to pay their bills. I saw him do that. I saw my dad go to the neighborhood grocery store, pick up food, for example, groceries, and he would sign the sheet of paper. Didn't have a credit card, but my dad had a good name with good credit. I remember that. Good name, good credit. Then when he died, my mom came along, and I remember, we had back then we had those food stamps. Now they got the Lone Star, and my mom would gave me some food stamps, and I said, go to the store and pick up these items. And I said, do you have the money? Give me the money. I don't want these food stamps. And so she said, I gave you the food stamps because I don't have the money, the cash money. And I said, well, I was too embarrassed. So I said, I don't want to go to the store with them food stamps. So she just put them on the table, the food stamp table. And she said, when you get hungry enough, you're gonna pick up those food stamps when you get hungry enough. So I'm just gonna sit them here. And then when you decide that you want to eat, you pick up these food stamps and you go to the store. Well, I did get hungry enough. Yeah. And I did go and pick up those food stamps. And I took them to the store. And then I saw some of my homeboys coming along. They were coming to the store. And the lady was taking her time tearing off the food stamps. And I was telling the lady, can you hurry up? Yeah. And so, true story. In fact, yes, I'm putting it in a book that I'm writing. And then they came, my homeboys are getting close. I left the groceries and the food stamps and walked out the store. Waited till my homeboys came out of the store. We talked. And I said, doggone it, I forgot to pick up some stuff. I'll catch y'all later. I circled back around and I got the stuff with the food stamp. I never forget that. Story. I said, I don't want to live like this. Got to get better. And so my mom kept saying, and I saw my mom working, going to get us ready, catch the bus out of his home, going to the Rice Hotel, coming home late, getting up early. I said, I don't want to see my mom working that hard. And so what my mom said, then you gotta, she said, you gotta stay focused. And so that's, do the work, go to school, do the work. And her slogan was, tomorrow will be better than today. That was the slogan at the Turner household. Tomorrow will be better. You don't like these food stamps? Work, go to school, tomorrow will be better. And so in school, I just studied, and ended up doing well. Graduated, as a valedictorian from Klein High School. Then went to University of Houston and graduated with honors. and then went off to Harvard Law School. My mom didn't have the money to come with me. In fact, my brothers and sisters, no one could go with me. So my mom loaded up everything in a Foot Locker. They took me to the airport, gave me one-way ticket, and my mom said, "I'm praying for you, and I'll see you around Christmas time." I went to a place sight unseen. I had never been to Boston, never been to Harvard. I ended up staying with two people from University of Houston that I knew until I could find an apartment. But again, I would talk to my mom on the phone. She'd say, "How you doing?" I said, I didn't want to complain. I said, "I'm doing all right. Hungry, cold." And then every now and then, the church that I was with would send me this care package. And when they came, it was like manna from heaven, but stayed focused. And then when this large law firm from Houston came to interview, and I sat down and interviewed and got a summer job with them after my first year in law school. And when I was getting ready to end the summer job, at the end of the summer job, these two partners took me to lunch. And they said to me, "Sylvester, we like you, we like your work. We like what you've done." And they said, "Look, when you graduate from Harvard, we want you to know that you have a job, a permanent job with us if you want to come." Now, I had just finished my first year. I still had 2 years to go. And they said to me, "We want to make you a permanent offer." And I said to them, "Let me make sure I understand." I said, "Let me make sure I understand what you're saying to me. I got 2 years to go, and you don't know what my grade's going to be 2 years from now. Are you saying to me that when I graduate 2 years from now, that I can work at this firm? And you giving me a permanent offer?" And they said, "Yeah, we like the work that you've done, and we want to make sure we don't lose you to somebody else. So we want to give you a permanent offer." It was at that point when I did finish school, started at the law firm, that my life changed. And then I could go to the stores, and I wasn't looking at the price tags anymore. I was able
Picked up that bag.
I was able to help my mom out, okay, because it was my mom that signed the loan papers for me to go to Harvard in the first place. So I was able to help my mom out, and things just changed. And then I stayed there for a few years, 4 years, until I then went and started another law firm of my own.
Yes, sir.
That had my own name.
Yeah.
And then I got to and then things really changed. I was representing this client out of East Texas. They heard me speak at a banquet, and they lost their son when this 18-wheeler ran on top of the car. He was out there at night changing his tire. This 18-wheeler ran over on top of the car and killed him. And the people from East Texas called and said, "Will you represent us?" And then 2 years later, we end up selling that lawsuit, and for a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And that changed my life. And then after that, there was an explosion down at the Phillips Petroleum, and this family heard me speak.
Yeah.
They called and said, "Look, we trust you. Will you represent our daughter?" And they ended up doing that. And then the irony of that, the lawyers that represented Phillips Petroleum were the lawyers who mentored me at that same law firm at Fort Bryan, Georgia. So we said
going against them.
So we sat around the table, and the ones who mentored me when I was at the law firm were representing the company that we were suing. And so they said this to me: "Sylvester, we don't have to take a whole lot of time. We know you, we train you. Let's see if we can settle this case." So they wrote a number down and passed it to me. I looked at the number and I said, "If I accept this offer, I would have been a poor student." So I wrote down a number. And passed it to them. And they said to me, "Sylvester, if we accept this offer, we would have been a poor teacher. So I said, well, then we need to find a medium that works.
Mm.
They sent back, they wrote down, sent it back to me, and I said to them, your student now feels real good. And we settled, and then that further changed. So staying at it, working at it, staying true, staying focused, and things then unfolded. And my life then changed from that moment on.
Beautiful story. Let's give him a round of applause for that. Beautiful story. And it's important that we hear testimonies like that, young people, because what he ended up being able to do for his mother, you can do for your mother. He wanted to be a lawyer. Figure out what you want to do and use the same principles that he used to become successful. I know y'all out there chasing that bag, but too many of you all are ending up in a body bag trying to chase that bag. You understand what I'm saying? All right, greatness. One more question, Mr. Mayor. Okay, you go from being valedictorian of your high school class, right?
Right.
University of Houston, Harvard Law, working for a prestigious law firm, own your own law firm. Around this time, you start getting that bread.
Praise God.
Praise God. And then we know the rest was history. State legislature, mayor. This morning, you were giving an honorary doctorate degree from Texas Southern University. Let's give it up for that. So I want to ask you sort of an internal question. Why haven't you got comfortable? Why didn't you get comfortable with the money that they gave you? Why didn't you get comfortable being a state representative? Why didn't you get comfortable when you ran for mayor the first time and didn't make it? Second time, didn't make it. What drives you?
I think you make a serious mistake when you think you have it and you take off. I think it's important for you to keep your feet firmly on the ground. And then my mama used to say, don't ever start smelling yourself.
Woo.
Okay? Because when you start smelling yourself and when you think you all of that, life will remind you who you are. Now, with all of what you've said and all of that is true, I am still reminded that I am a black man.
Yes, sir.
In this world.
Yes, sir.
Even as mayor, I am constantly reminded as to who I am and how some people perceive who I am. And so I have to deal with that. It's just because all of those accomplishments have come, it doesn't mean you don't have challenges. It doesn't mean that people don't try to put stumbling blocks in your way. So you keep your feet on the ground and you stay, and if you allow me to say this, you stay where God can bless you.
Yeah.
Because in a moment of it, in the blink of an eye, what you have achieved can be gone. So don't ever become so comfortable that you think you are immune.
Yeah.
Okay. I am still this brother, this guy from Acres Home. I'm still a black man. I'm still having to live out here. And so we need each other.
Yes.
Okay. We need each other. And one of the reasons why I'm here is that it's not where, I'm here to give advice and I don't need anybody's help. And no, we still need to collaborate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We still need to work together.
Yes, sir.
And we still need each other. I need these young boys and these brothers just as much as they need me.
Yeah.
So we are forever connected.
Yes, sir.
Until the Lord calls us home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's
all right. Let's give it up for Mayor Sylvester Turner. All right, Mr. Turner.
Can I say just one last thing? And I'll let you know what and go. And yeah, that's me.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, please.
And you notice that tooth that's missing. When I was in Acres, we didn't have cars, so rode the bike.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I was speeding with one of my buddies, and I hit the front brake, and the bike threw, and I fell and tripped my tooth.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have insurance. So all during middle school
Yes, sir.
and in high school,
Yes, sir.
I went around with that broken tooth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it was an older brother who happened to be a dentist who said to me when he said, Sylvester, why haven't you gotten that tooth fixed?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we don't have insurance. I don't have the money. So he said, son, now you come to my office.
Mm.
Let me fix that. Let me fix that tooth. I don't want you walking around with that tooth. And he said, you got a lot going for you.
Yes, sir.
But that'll hold you back.
Mm.
And let me tell you, and I had some self-esteem problems too. I would hardly ever smile.
Yes, sir.
You know. And when he did that, he didn't charge me anything, didn't charge my mom anything.
Wow.
It changed my own self-esteem.
Oh, wow. Yes, sir.
So what we have to do for many of these young boys, and quite frankly, young girls as well, is that we just can't talk to them.
Mm.
We got to fix them up too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to give them
Yes,
what
sir.
they need so that they can walk and feel good. We got to make sure they are dressed right, fixed right. Give them those things that they need so that they can walk like young kings and young lions. And then when they start looking like a lion, they'll act like a lion.
Yes,
And so that's a part of what we need to do. That dentist changed my whole disposition. And I just felt a whole lot better.
Thank you for the story. Mr. Mayor, we put this picture up for a distinct purpose. You know, they always ask black men what advice they would give to their younger self. So we brought this picture up, Mr. Mayor, and looking at the man that you are today and all that you've learned, what advice would you give to him?
The advice I would give to him,
yes, sir,
is that you can be anything that God has designed for you. Don't put limits on yourself. Just go for it. And that's the advice that I would give to him. Don't stop until the job has been done and you have reached your full potential.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that's the advice I would give to him. And to be candid, that's the advice I gave to myself. You know.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
And now when you look around at the United States, the 4 largest cities in the United States,
yes, sir,
New York, LA, Chicago, and Houston, you know what we have in common? All of the 4 largest cities in the United States are run by black mayors.
Yes.
All 4.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Turner. Let's give Mayor Turner a round of applause. Thank you.
Now, the city is partnering with the Black Male. I believe in this Black Male Summit now. And the city is partnering with you, Brother Deric, and we're going to continue to partner with you. Brandon Denton is there with My Brother's Keepers program and Pastor Jill there. But can I do this? Because it's so impactful on all of these young boys. I just want to present this proclamation to you. And that's just saying, I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to read the last line. It just says, therefore I,
yes, sir,
Sylvester Turner,
yes, sir,
Mayor of the City of Houston,
yes, sir,
hereby proudly proclaim this day,
yes, sir,
December 10, 2022, as the Black Male Summit Day in the city of Houston.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Love you, man.
Yeah, give it up for the mayor of the 4th largest city in America, Mayor Sylvester Turner. All right, y'all ready to keep the program rolling? Are y'all ready to keep the program rolling? If you fired up, clap 2 times. If you fired up, clap 3 times. All right, that's what I'm talking about, greatness. Next, I want to bring to you the brother who is the director of the My Brother's Keeper initiative here in Houston. The My Brother's Keeper initiative is an initiative that focuses on mentorship. If there are mothers or grandmothers, fathers or grandfathers or parents who are in this audience who need a mentor, this is the man to see. So we don't want to just give you a good word. We want to give you resources that you can use when you leave as well. Give it up for Brother Branton Denton of the My Brother's Keeper initiative.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? I'm excited. I felt like after Pastor Jay spoke, we could have cut it off there, right? And then when Dr. Mayor Turner came up, we probably could have stopped it right there. So imagine me, the director of NBK, following tough acts like that. So bear with me, give me some grace. I'm happy to be here. This is a great look. It's one thing to be in the role and play the position that I play, but it's even greater when I can come and see other people that look just like me. I'll just say this, when I found out that the director's role was open for NBK, I had a conversation with my mother about, hey, this is a lot of responsibility. As a young man, I feel like I have young Black men's lives in my hand, although it's symbolic, right? I want to take that type of responsibility going into this role. And she said, well, I think, son, you need to take that job. And so I asked her why. And she said, because it is other young men out there that look up to men like you that you and your friends are always talking about, right? And so I do take this role of being director of My Brother's Keeper as significance, but I also like the title of being a young Black man. I'm only 35 years old, so this is very significant. Before I get into the message that I want to bring, I just want to send a shout out to the Houston Health Department team. I see the Bureau, the NBK team. Can y'all please give them a round of applause? I see my guy Ivan in the back. Thank you for being here, sir. And on behalf of Stephen Williams and the Houston Health Department, thank you, Brother Muhammad, for putting on this summit and allowing us to be partners and collaborators with you in this work. We need more people in the community holding hands and locking arms with us, singing the same song with the same voice to the same tune. All right. So My Brother's Keeper, really quick, I want to tell you a little bit about the initiative, and then I want to leave you with the message that you can take home and that you can take into your community. So if you go to the next slide, the NBK Alliance, or the NBK program here in Houston, started in 2015 when President Barack Obama was in the White House. He made a call to mayors across the city to have them champion this through a call of action that will support boys and young men of color. This is significant because all of the things that we're doing here at My Brother's Keeper are directly aligned with Brother Muhammad's mission and that of the Male Summit. And so our initiative focuses on mentorship, youth violence prevention, helping young men find jobs, being engaged in different programs in school and out of school, just so we can keep them out of their prison to school to prison pipeline. That makes sense? And so we're governed by 6 different initiatives, but in Houston, we focus on 3. Milestone 3 is helping young people graduate high school. Milestone 4 is helping them receive post-secondary education and training. Milestone 5 helped them get into the workforce, and Milestone 6 is centered around youth violence prevention and second chances. And so when I talk about my message here in a second, I want to hang my hat on that youth violence prevention part. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about moi, because you have not met me before, and you haven't seen me in this position, so I need you to know who I am. I grew up in a small town called Spencer, Oklahoma. It is a rural country town. I call it the country hood because it was only about 4,000 people. 58% of the people that live in Spencer are Black. And of those 4,000 people, minus the Blacks, minus the whites, you probably can count the cows, the chickens, and all the other livestock that we have running around in the country. And you probably can even count the people that are in the cemetery to get to that 4,000 number. But coming from a small town like Houston, that is 5.6 square miles, 4,000 people, to a city like Houston, Texas, which is 2.3 million, 6.5 million in the county, 650 square miles. It could be a little daunting and overwhelming, but because it has that town feel, that H-Town feel, it's been good and it's been easy for me to get acclimated into the community and be a part of the mission like this. But I grew up just like you all, right? A lot of you all in this room come from poverty. I came from poverty. I grew up broke. Right? My favorite meal noodles, ramen noodles, throw in a little bit of mixed vegetables. There, my man right here, he like noodles. What flavor you like? Chicken. Mine was pork, beef, chicken, all those flavors. But I grew up broke. You know, I walked around with patches in my clothes. My parents didn't make a lot of money. My mother had 4 kids, 3 sisters. I was the only boy. So it was a lot of sharing going on. But I had mobility issues, right? My parents were divorced when I was 3 years old. I spent a lot of time going back and forth between mama's house and daddy's house. And there was a lot of time where custody and divorce was being primary issues within our home, right? On top of being broke, on top of the lights getting cut out, on top of those cars being repossessed. There was a lot of things happening in my life that you all may can identify with. So I don't come from a different place than you are. You may see me with the loafers on. You may see me with the suit on. You may see me hanging out with Pastor Jay and Mayor Turner and all those things. But I only got to where I am today because there was a series of choices that I had to make in order to become the person that I am. If you go to the next slide, we'll start with that message. So before we get into it, I want everybody to say, I have a choice. Louder, I have a choice. Now, because we're in the church, Pastor Jay, I don't know if Pastor Rasmus is here or not, but look to somebody to your left or to your right and tell them you have a choice. All right, and go to the next slide. We're going to skip past this one since Brother Muhammad said I need to get to my message here. So if you read this quote here, it says, there's a choice you have to make in everything that you do. So keep in mind that in the end, the choice that you make makes you. All right. I mentioned earlier that my parents were divorced when I was 3 years old. Mobility issues, back and forth. I was going from school to school, whether I was living with my parents and going to all black school, moved with my mother, went to an all white school. And then at 10 years old, I had to make a decision that I believe changed my life for the better or for the greater. My parents were going through a custody battle, and my dad was trying to make sure or get all my sisters and all the siblings to live with him. My mother was getting ready to move to Dallas, Texas. She had a felony record, so she had a hard time finding a job. And this was a really brutal time in my life. And at the end of the custody battle, I remember I had one full blood sister. My oldest sister was my half sister. My parents got married. I had a full blood sister. It was myself. They got divorced, and I had a younger sister that was 3 years younger than me. And I remember going, after the custody battle was ending, the judge brought myself and my full blood sister into the chambers, and he asked us at 10 years old, where do you want to live? I had to make a decision as a young boy to determine whether I was going to be with this parent or the other. I had to separate myself, what would potentially separate me from my sisters and my whole entire family. But because of my father being active in my life, immediately I said my daddy. And I turned to my sister just knowing that they were going to make the same decision that I made. And my sister shrugged her shoulders and said she didn't care. And my other sister said they want to go with my mother. And at the end of the day, judge sent boy with daddy, girls with mama, and my family was separated by 287 miles, right? What was good about that situation, though, is where I went to live with my father. My father was getting remarried. I gained a bonus mother, my stepmother, and I gained a stepbrother and a stepsister, and my house had a unit, and I had the stability that I needed to get to where I was. That was decision number one that changed my life, and I had some structure, and I had the benefits of mentors and coaches in my life. But I played baseball, so baseball drove my whole life track. I've had the opportunity to live a pretty remarkable life, regardless of, in spite of the things that I just mentioned to you. I have the chance and opportunity to work for the mayor of the 4th largest city, had the opportunity to work for the Houston Astros as community relations manager. I've had the opportunity to travel the world and see things and be exposed to things because I had a support system, because I had baseball, because I had an education. And now I can stand in front of you having a job that I never even knew existed, right? Most of us think about becoming lawyers or teachers or pastors or some of those things, but I'm the director of a My Brother's Keeper initiative that supports young black men and brown boys that look just like me. Makes sense? So there was a series of decisions that I made. When I was 16, I chose to keep playing baseball instead of playing basketball. When I was 21, I decided to leave home and go to school 3 hours away. When I got done playing baseball, mind you, I was the first black and only black to play for Rogers State University baseball team. So I made a significant strides in a program that didn't even have blacks, and I went on to recruit more blacks to play for that baseball team. At 24, 25 years old, I made a choice to come to Houston, Texas, and start my career. And one of the first jobs I landed after I left the Houston Astros was at the City of Houston Parks Department, managing community centers in 5th Ward named Finnegan Park. And I remember there being a serious conversation I had with a kid around education and work and things like that. And he said to me, Mr. Brandon, you have all these programs going on. He said, you're teaching us about education. You're letting us roll out the balls and play. You're teaching us about entrepreneurship. You're taking us on trips and exposing us to all these different things. You want us to go to college. You want us to spend $40,000 or $50,000 to get a degree to come out making maybe $40,000, $50,000 a year. He said, or going into debt $40,000 or $50,000 to pay for that, and we might not even get a job making that type of money. He said, so why should I go to college? Because I have a brother or a cousin that is making $40,000 or $50,000 a month selling drugs. What do y'all think I said? How does that make you feel? What would you have said? It's not good. Anybody else? Sad? My first thought was, whoo, I might be in the wrong profession. You making $40,000, $50,000 a month. But no, that wasn't really my thought. But I had to think about what I was going to say to that young man. I was 30-something years old. I had no experience. I had believed in the system of going to college and everything that he said. But I said, you know what? You have a choice. Everybody say, I have a choice. And what's good about having the choice right now, who can get up in the morning and go use the restroom without question? All right, put your hands down. How many people can get up and go fix them some food and make a choice, right? You can make those choices easy. How many people got to get up every day and decide where they're going to work, how they're going to go to work, what they're going to wear? You can do that, right? But what if he made a choice that took away every choice he had to make from that point forward, right? So you want to be able to stay on a track that allows you to keep making those choices with the freedom that you have. If he goes to jail, you think he can get up whenever he wants? If he goes to jail, do you think he can eat what he wants? Do you think if he go to jail, he can drive what he wants? No, those choices are taken away from you. So everybody say, I have a choice. 53 children under the age of 18 years old have died in Harris County this year alone by homicide or by gun violence. If you look at the numbers since 2018, 162 young children of color have been killed by homicide or by gun violence. Of those, 44% are Black, 43% are Hispanic, 11% respectively, white and Asian. So we have a huge youth violence problem going on here in Houston, and MBK is doing work to make sure that we divert kids to where they need to be, to keep them out of trouble, to keep them engaged, and partner with brothers like Deric Muhammad over here, so we can keep you focused, keep you in school, and keep you on the right track. So if anything that you hear today, regardless if it's me, Mayor Turner, Pastor Jay, or whoever, just remember you have a choice, and you want to make sure that you stay on that track so you can continue to make those choices, so you can better your life and better the community around you. Go to the next slide one more time. And so when I leave you with these three things that you can ask yourself, or that you can take with you every day, young men, ask yourself, am I making the best choices for my very own life? You can choose to get in the gang, you can choose to go to school, you can choose to go to work, and you can choose positive decisions or choices. But make sure that everything you do, you ask yourself, am I making the best decision possible? Every day, reflect on all your experiences. Don't let anybody make those decisions for you, making sure that you stay on top of everything that you do, making sure that you stay on top of your own life and you make decisions that'll better yourself in your future. All right. So I'll leave you with that. I'll let us go to the next speakers, but I want to thank you on behalf of My Brother's Keeper, the Houston Health Department, and our partnership with the Smarten Up Summit. Be well. Thank you. You got it, brother. Thanks, man.
Let's give it up for Brother Brandon Denson of My Brother's Keeper. Make sure you visit the My Brother's Keeper table. They have a vending table with information about how to get your child involved in various activities and things of that nature, how to find a mentor. It's a great resource. So make sure you rush this brother before he gets up out of here. Is everybody all right? Is everybody okay? Y'all ready to get to the money? Anybody in here like money? Raise your hand. All right, put your hands down. All right. Now, statistic. They say that coming out of slavery, Black people own less than 1% of the wealth in this country. That's bad, right? They say that today in 2022, Black people own less than 1% of the wealth in this country. So if it was bad then, with all of the resources that we have at our disposal, with social media and everything else that we have at our disposal, we still collectively own less than what we own coming out of slavery. If that's a shame, say that's a shame. All right. But it's not enough for us to say that it is a shame. We have to get busy doing something about it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that 90% of our problems can be solved if we would just stand in unity. That sound about right to y'all? That sound like some good math to y'all? All right, so we have to start thinking about empowering one another collectively, all right? And a brother that we have here, he spoke last time at the Black Male Summit, rocked the house. He will do nothing less than that this time. Please give it up for Brother Chad Muhammad, the owner of Universal, is it Universal Realty? Universal Realty and Management. Let's give it up for Brother Chad.
All right. Let me open up properly. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I'd like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to be back on this stage. Thank you, Brother Deric, for the invite once again to speak to such a magnificent body of young, black, young and younger. Ain't nobody old here. So either young or you're older. Or young or you're younger, I'm sorry. So thank you once again. Before I get started, I just wanted to get that out the way. So a little about me. I am Chad Muhammad. I am the owner of Universal Realty and Management. I have over 10 years of helping people buy and sell real estate. And I also am a real estate investor as well. So I buy and sell homes. I buy and sell land. I flip them. I wholesale them. I do the whole nine when it comes to real estate. But that's about me. If you were here for the last Black Male Summit, you heard from me about the importance of ownership of land, the value of growing your own food. That's what I do. So today I want to make a little turn to do something different, and I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship. Everybody know what that is? Does anybody want to own their own business? Okay, good. Next slide. Let's see what we say about business. So the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan says that business is the activity of life. So if you look at the root word of business, it's busy. That means if you are busy doing something for yourself, your family, and your community, you are indeed mentally alive. That's what living people do. That means the opposite is also true. If you are not busy doing something for yourself, what are you? Say that one more time. You're mentally dead. Some of y'all looking like, you calling me dead? Well, let's look at it. When a person physically dies, right, who puts them in the casket? Somebody else. Who puts the flowers on their casket? Somebody else. Who puts them in the ground? Somebody else. Well, let's look at our current condition. Who grows our food? Who puts the food in the grocery stores for us to buy? For the most part, who builds our homes? Who builds our apartment complexes that we live in? And it's a shame that if somebody else didn't make toilet paper for us, we couldn't even wipe our backside. That's a tough one, I know. Next slide. Entrepreneurship, this is what it is. The process of developing, organizing, and running a new business to generate profit while taking on financial risk. I'm gonna say that one more time. Entrepreneurship is the process of developing, organizing, and running a new business to generate profit while taking on financial risk. So if you got a get-rich-quick scheme in your head, you know, a side hustle, get that out of your head. I want to deal more with the mindset of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Let's not talk about money for a second. Money is a product of providing value. As long as you're providing value, money will come. But I want you to begin this journey if you want to be an entrepreneur with the end in mind. Next slide. This is what it's not. It's not a side hustle. This is a full-time job. This is like a baby. Just like having a baby, you're going to have to put time in. You're going to have to spend money on it. And every now and then, you're going to have to change some diapers because bad things happen in business more often than not. It is not for the lazy. Some people hear that, to be an entrepreneur means I get to set my own schedule. so I can just chill all day and then still make money. No, that's not how it goes. In the beginning of creating your business, you're gonna work more hours and make less money because you're in the inception phase, you're experimenting, you're trying to see what works and what does not work. It is not for those who don't like to compete. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said business is warfare because that same dollar that you're trying to get from somebody else is trying to get it too. So you got to compete. You got to offer better value, better service, better quality products so you can win that sale. It is not for the self-unaware. That means if you don't know who you are, you don't know your strengths and weaknesses, you don't know your bad habits versus your good habits, then it may not be for you yet. You just need to go to the lab. You need to approach this thing like a scientist and think about what you do good, what you do well, and then start the process of trying to be an entrepreneur. It is not instant success. I'm 10 years in plus, about to be 11 years in. I can tell you, I wanted to quit. I done went through every emotion when it comes to business. But the rewards waiting on you on the other side of the struggle is well worth it. So just hang in there. Next slide.
The activity of life. This is what business is. The first four letters, B-U-S-I. The I is interchangeable with Y, busy. When you're doing nothing, you're not alive. A busy person has to be busy doing something that nature requires. Nature requires every living thing to do something for itself. It may be a worm, but it ain't looking to another way. Hey, you got anything for me? Look how silly you look. Big grown man or woman at Tennessee State working on a degree and then going out begging somebody. You got a job for me? Suppose he told you, no, I ain't got no job for you. What you gonna do then? How are you gonna make a job for yourself? See, if this is what you come to Tennessee State for, to get education, to go out and beg the white man for a job, you in bad shape, brother and sister, because he don't have enough jobs for his millions of unemployed, and history says he will look out for himself first if you get a shake at all. So college has to prepare you for the reality of life, or these are plantations. Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Business is warfare.
Come on.
You know, beloved brothers and sisters, when you start realizing the value of knowledge and how knowledge separates man from beast, then the search for and the acquisition of knowledge is what the battle of life is all about. When you come into this world, you come in knowing nothing, but there's an insatiable curiosity to know about this thing that we were given birth into. It's a huge book that you were born into. Now you come to college, you buy books. And I know your professors or whoever wrote the book, they're considered scholars. So you learn to quote what some scholar said. You're not trained to think and look deeply into what people say.
only way to be a professional is to work harder than everybody. A professional, like a professional baseball player, a boxer, is someone that's better than everyone else. That's why he gets paid so much to do it. That means work. It ain't nothing professional going to get given to you. There's some sacrifice. There's always pain. And, you know, there's always going to be dark times because that's part of business. Every time you create a new business, you got to struggle a little bit. And it takes a while to build a brand. It takes about 5 years to be consistent. Like my first 5 years, you know, I'm not saying nothing different. I've been saying the same exact stuff. If you go look at backstage and any kind of argument I had, it's always been consistent. It's just people weren't ready for it. They didn't trust it. But after I've been saying it for 10 years or 5 to 10, now it's a brand. I have a brand for it. I'm consistent. I back it up. I'm still here. I'm still up. Even when, you know, being an independent meant looking like you was down.
All right, give it up for them. Next slide. Okay, rules of engagement when you are approaching your entrepreneurship journey. Rule number 1, what is your why? What is driving you to do this? Sometimes we do things because it's the hot topic on social media. We think because everybody's talking about it, you know, why not jump in? But why do you want to do this? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said there's a difficulty factor attached to anything of value. That means if you're doing something worthwhile, it's going to get hard. And if you don't have that extra gas in the tank to keep pushing, you're going to quit. I've seen it over and over. Anybody got a good reason for wanting to be an entrepreneur that they can share? I got it. That's right. She said freedom and flexibility. That's important. That's important. So I put crypto, stocks, and NFTs on the board for a reason. Because the last 2 years, that was the hot topic. People making all kind of money, or at least it seems, off crypto, stocks, and NFTs. Do you still hear anybody talking about them? Okay, because they only got in for money. They wanted to get rich quick. They really didn't have a passion or a strong why to why they wanted to approach these things. So when the market crashed, everybody ran. So remember, it's a difficulty factor attached, but if you have a strong why, you'll get through it. And you got to dig deep and find out what that is. It might be that you and a family member talked about opening a business one day, you know, to get your family out of poverty, and that family member passed away, and you still want to fulfill the vision. That's strong. That's going to get you through them dark times. But if you just want to make money, as soon as it gets hard, you're going to quit. Next slide. Rule number 2, identify your gift. Does everybody know their gift in here? Okay, that means we got some soul searching to do. Don't think you're too young or too old to do this. I do this myself. I take a piece of paper and a pen, and I write down what I'm good at. What do people say about me all the time? What do I find myself doing without anybody asking? I got a 7-year-old daughter, right? Without anybody asking her, she's gonna go to the table, pull out her little art set, and start drawing. So that tells me she's creative. So I need to push her in that direction, right? But we need to do that for ourselves. And it's not our children. We need to know what our gifts is. I want y'all to repeat after me. I have a gift. I have a gift. I have a gift. Okay, so we established everybody here has a gift. Nobody's left out. God did not miss anybody. You have a gift whether you know it or not. And if you don't know, it's okay. But get started. That's y'all's homework today. When y'all go home, get a pen and a pad, write down what you're good at, what people say about you. Ask some people. Ask your mom. Ask your best friend. They'll tell you the truth. You might not want to hear it, but they'll tell you the truth. Next slide. Rule number 3, stay flexible. Be open-minded to feedback and criticism. Sometimes we want to run with that first idea. Oh, I got an idea for a product or a shirt or whatever. That ain't always the best idea. You want to make sure you thoroughly vet your ideas. Bring it around friends, family, people that you trust to tell you the truth and give you feedback whether it's good or bad. Don't marry one idea product. That goes without saying. There was one brother, he made candles, right? He had a scented candle that he wanted to, introduce to the market. He thought it'd be a smash. It was a candle scented as a cheeseburger. A cheeseburger scented candle. He's like, yeah, I got this cheeseburger scented candle, man. When you light it, the whole room smell like McDonald's, Burger King. Everybody gonna love it. Turns out nobody loved it because nobody wanted the house smelling like cheeseburgers. So it's not that he's not good at business or marketing. He got the wrong product, right? Some of y'all might be too young, but y'all remember that episode of Martin when Cole said, rent them spoons. He had the right spirit, but totally the wrong product. Next slide. Okay. Is anybody familiar with this? The scientific method. You probably learned this in middle school, high school, but you can use this in your business. You got purpose. I want you to write this down on paper. We're dealing with the mindset, y'all. Forget about money for a quick second. You got to have the right mindset to last. Scientific method says, state your purpose. What are you trying to do? Let's say I want a clothing line, right? I want to start a clothing line. Research. Okay, I want my clothing line to have, certain content or conscious content. I want to talk about my people, unity, all that, right? So let me identify my target market. Let me see where their attention is. Are they on Facebook? Are they more on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Are they more on TikTok? That's your research. Your hypothesis is you predicting the outcome. If I run ads on Facebook, if I get 2 influencers to wear my stuff and their whole following sees it, then I predict that I'll get sales on my website, right? That's a hypothesis. Now your experiment is you actually doing it. You run ads on Facebook, you post on your social media, you get the influencers to wear it. Now you analyze what happened after you do that. Now, if you see that people engage with your post when you post it, and people engage with the influencer post when they post it, and you got visitors to your website, but nobody bought anything, that might mean that you did everything right, but your website may not be what they call optimized for conversion. Meaning they got there, but you got too many designs, you got too many shirts to select from, they can't find the checkout button, the go to cart button. So that's the scientific approach to it. So don't throw everything away. Look at what needs to be fixed, redo it, and try again. And try this over and over again until you get it right. Look at our young brother up there looking at that Kool-Aid. All right, next slide. Rule number 4, learn the different areas of your business. This is critical. Sometimes we in a rush to be a boss. We hear that. I hate that word. I don't like the word boss. I like the word leader because I'll go out there and do it with you to show you I'm not too good. I don't want to sit in the back office dictating things. So when you are an owner of a business starting out, you are the head of each of these departments, okay? You are the head of financing, sales, accounting, that's you. Operations manager, that's you. Marketing manager, marketing director, that's you. But once you get a thorough understanding of each department of your business, now you can set up systems, right? For real estate, I have to reach out to landowners and homeowners. So I may do cold calling. But after I figured out how to do cold calling and I got good at it, I hired somebody to call. That means whether I'm sick or out of town, calls are being made. If I'm reaching out via direct mail, I got them loaded up with mail lists for the next month. So every week my mail is going out. Social media posts, I got an app that schedules my posts. So no matter what happens, I got a system to make sure my business keeps growing into the future. Next slide. Okay, success leaves clues. I like to say God leaves clues. All right, so if you look at this picture on the far right, that's a human body. Did you know that you are a bunch of systems working together? That's all we are. We are a bunch of systems working together for the onward motion of one life. That's me and that's you. And that's everybody in this room. That's God's design. Look at a home. Talking about real estate now. A home is nothing but systems working together to make sure the home is functional and lives on through the years. You got structural system, which is the roof, the wall, the foundation. You got plumbing system. You got electrical. It's just systems. And we live on Earth, right? This is a solar system. So look, God is telling you if you want to be successful, you gotta implement systems to make sure His creation lives on through the years and through the centuries. He has to implement systems. Why wouldn't we do that for our business? Do you want your business to grow? Do you want it to keep going on into the future and evolve and take care of you and your family and many more? All right, so we're gonna take a bite out of God's playbook and we're gonna implement systems. Next slide. This is the last rule, but the most important rule. Rule number 5, strive to be right. The world has enough corrupt businessmen and women. They don't need no more. It would be a shame if you embarked on this journey and went through all the struggle and overcome all the difficulty just to end up in jail or selling somebody out. Why would you do that? You are here to make something better, a new world, new businessmen and women. All right? Next slide. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he says, this activity of land development is going on in Phoenix and in cities around the country and indeed around the earth. However, to those who spend those hundreds of millions and billions of dollars building structures, unless we build people, unless the human potential of people is developed, then man in his underdeveloped state will ultimately destroy the cities that he has built because of revolution and war. That's a bar right there. So if you build a business, yeah, it's nice, and you got 75 employees, but you corrupt on the inside. So you steal money, you short people when you owe them. You lie, you steal. You're just going to destroy your own business. Don't waste your time. Next. Do for self or suffer the consequences. Man, I can drop the mic right there. We cannot continue to increase our population and hope that the white man will continue to create employment for us. I warn you daily that there will come a time when they probably will drop you, and you will have to do something. You have to do for yourself. Start practicing the art of doing for self now. That's page 77, Message to the Black Man in America. That's the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is known for keeping it real. Next. Okay, this is the layoffs in 2022. He told you that a time was coming when they would drop you. Let's see if we are in that time. I'm going to just read it really quickly. And this is just in the tech sector. This is technology companies that had layoffs. There's many more companies. DoorDash, Candy Digital, Amazon, Meta, Twitter, Zillow, Peloton, DocuSign, Taboola, Snapchat, Outbrain, Lyft, The Mom Project, OpenSea, Substack, Niantic, Masterclass, Bird, Superhuman, Cameo, Robinhood, Virgin Hyperloop, Peloton, which had a second round of layoffs, and Beachbody. That's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of companies. So it's becoming less about just doing something that you like doing and more about surviving. You're going to have to do for self. Okay, let's go. Okay, this is a New York Times article excerpt. It said, food prices soar and so do company profits. Some companies and restaurants have continued to raise prices on consumers, even after their own inflation-related costs have been covered. What that means is, as their costs go up, they have to pass that on to you. But even after they cover their costs, they still go up some more because they want some money out of you. So if you're making the same amount of money, yet the cost of your groceries, your gas, and all your living expenses are going up, eventually you reach a breaking point where you can't afford to live how you're living or take care of the children that you have. Doing for self, we have to. Chipotle Mexican Grill, which said prices by the end of the year would be nearly 15% higher than a year earlier, reported $257.1 million in profit in their latest quarter, up nearly 26% from a year earlier. Chipotle raised their prices, so they're charging you more, but that ain't affecting their sales. They're still getting more money from you. All right, next. So we're going to pause for a second. This is more about me. I want to leave y'all with some practical advice. Last time I left you with 3 things to know when you buy land. I flip land, and you don't need any money to do it. So if you're tough on cash, don't think that you can't engage in business and entrepreneurship. Excuse me. Land, I like land better than flipping houses because you don't have to worry about tenants, toilets, termites. It's vacant land. I don't have to fix anything. It's just vacant, right? Next slide. So take a picture of this. This is just some free game. You can make some money doing this, and if you don't have any money, you still can do it. All right, flipping land with no money. Call spec home builders. Let me explain what that is. A spec home builder is somebody who buys land from you, and they build a house and they sell it on the market. It's not their house. It's a builder. They buy the land, they build a home, and they sell it for the highest amount on the market. You're going to reach out to these people. How do you reach out to them? You can Google them. You can literally Google spec home builders in Houston. It'll have a list coming up. Once you talk to them, ask them, what do they need? What are they looking for? They need people like us to locate different opportunities for them to build homes on. So Do that first. Find out what they're looking for, how much. Then once you have that criteria, reach out to vacant property owners. You can use a website called PropStream. And if you don't want to subscribe to PropStream, you can literally, once you find out where they want the land, go to that area. Let's say they want a 5,000 square foot lot in Conroe. Go to Conroe and drive. If you don't have a car, get on Google Street View and literally virtually drive around the block until you see vacant lots. Okay, after you do that, use truepeoplesearch.com. Please remember that, truepeoplesearch.com. You can enter the address in there. It'll give you the number to the landowner. Reach out to them. If the builder said, I'll pay $50,000 for a 5,000 square foot lot, once I call a landowner, I'm gonna make an offer for $40,000. If they accept it, I'm gonna write a contract for $40,000. Then I'm gonna enter into what's called an assignment contract with the builder. So they're gonna pay me an assignment fee. He wants to buy it for 50, I got it under contract for 40. When they close, I get the difference. That's $10,000. That's free game. A lot of people charge you for this on the internet. I'm gonna tell you, if you apply that, you will make money. And if y'all do, reach out to me. Go to the next slide. I want to hear about it. So you can contact me, Sold by Chad, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Any questions you got, I have an ebook coming out that'll lay it all out for you. But if you have any success based off what I just told you, please reach out to me. I just want to know. All right? We learned something? All right, that's my time.
Man, let's give it up to Sold by Chad, Brother Chad Muhammad. How many of you in here want to own your own business? Raise your hand. All right, if you want to own your own business, I am charging you to reach out to this man right here, Brother Chad Muhammad. He's going to help you in the development of your business. Is that all right? All right, okay. Before we get to our keynote speaker, we got one more speaker. This is a brother who speaks all around the country at middle schools, high schools, and universities. He calls himself Brother Chris C. Chris C. The name of his business is Chris C. Speaks. He's one of the most motivational and inspirational brothers that I've ever heard. Let's give it up for Brother Chris C. Come on, y'all can do better than that.
Sound of my voice, clap twice. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. It's always one. It's always one. One more time. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. You can hear the sound of my voice, clap twice. Everybody like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. You already hear the sound of my voice, clap once. You can hear the sound of my voice, clap twice. If you're greatness, clap 3 times. Greatness, clap 3 times. My bad. My bad. Oh, I done messed up the whole thing. Oh, this good. We good. We good. All right, we good. Can y'all hear me now? Well, I just got in trouble. I ain't got in trouble like that in a long time. So yeah, I just want to just shout out Chad, man. I'm super proud of you, man, to see the young man that you came in as. Great young man on the yard, but like to see you doing your thing right now is absolutely amazing. You keep in contact with Abe and tell him I said what's up, and he owed me $2. All right, so listen. Everyone repeat after me. Say time, energy, effort. Time, energy, effort. Time, energy, effort. What I'm about to give you is the information that will change the way that you see yourself and the way that you see the world. And I promise on everything I love that if you live what you learn in these next 8 to 9 minutes, not only will you be able to take everything that you've applied today and actually live with it, but you'll be able to take everything that you've applied today and multiply it. Everybody say multiply. Time, energy, effort. Everybody raise your right hand and repeat after me. Say, I promise on everything I love. Now stop that. Everybody look, hold on, put your hand down, listen. Now I don't get to talk to my people often. Normally I got to coach people on how to say Eric. Y'all better quit fronting. It's ERRRRY, THANG, love, LUH, love. Y'all better quit fronting in this joint. All right, we're going to try this again. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Say, I promise on everything I love to do my best, to do my duty, to be the dopest version of myself. Now look, y'all, I've traveled across the country and I teach people how to make leadership a verb. I've traveled all across the world doing this little thing right here. And the kid from the south side of the Chi, the fact that I've been able to do this for a living is absolutely bonkers. So what I want to tell you today is the three things that we started off talking about, time, energy, and effort, are the most important things that you will ever learn. These are the most important concepts that you can master, because everyone in here has the ability to think about an idea. But if you just think about it and don't do anything with it, it's trash. There are millions of billion-dollar ideas in the graveyard that have been unfulfilled. I'm going to say that one more time. There are millions of billion-dollar ideas in the graveyard that have gone unfulfilled because you have the idea here, but you don't do what it takes to make the idea a reality. Now, y'all just got some serious game about wholesaling that right now everyone in this room can do. Like, you can actually go right now, start an LLC, you and your kids can be your employees, you can pay your kids up to $6,000 a year, and you can wholesale right now, and no matter what you make, it's a win. It's something you can do instead of being on your phone when you're on the toilet, you could be doing that. But you know what it takes? Time, energy, and effort. I got a quick question. What do you want to be, quote unquote, when you grow up? Now listen, focus. I know it's a lot going on behind me. Focus. What do you want to be when you grow up? Talk to me, young man. Say it again. Truck driver. I love it. Hooper. All right. Right here. Comic book writer. I love it. Okay. Say that again. He said, I want to be the greatest of all time in boxing. Boy, okay. Well, let's some snaps for that. He don't want to just be a boxer. That boy said, I want to be the greatest of all times. Okay. You want to be a dentist. I love it. Right here. It's all right. A boxer? All right. Amazing. A boxer too. Look at you inspiring folks. We got 1, 2, and then 3. What you want? A judge? Amazing. An architect? I love it. Say that again. An astronaut? Amazing. Say that again. A pilot? I love it. Last one. A football player? Absolutely amazing. I need everyone in here to remember what these young people said they wanted to be when they grow up. Now I'm going to ask some adults, and I don't want you to answer the question, but are you who you wanted to be now that you're an adult? See, so many dreams are crushed right around this age. Young men, let me talk to y'all for a minute, and let me just tell y'all the absolute truth. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as it was designed to work. Each and every last one of you in here, right around the time you get 12 or 13, is where your brain starts to work a little bit differently. You start to focus on things a little bit differently, and you have to be a better steward of your time, energy, and effort. Far too often, we're worried about being cool, we're worried about being dope, we're worried about our sneakers, we're worried about all these other things which are important, but we have to be better stewards of our time, energy, and effort. Now, I want y'all to take notes on this because I was given a very specific assignment, and I believe in being obedient. I was told to tell you how to take an idea or a dream and turn it into a reality. And I'm going to give you the game in 3 steps that if you do these 3 things, there is absolutely no way that you fail. And the reason why is because failure is not an option, it's a prerequisite. Some of y'all may not know what a prerequisite means, but like when you go to college, in order for you to take certain classes, you have to take other classes before that to prepare you for that next level. Y'all, failure is part of the game. You can't go around it, you just got to go through it. The best entrepreneurs, the best folks in business, they don't avoid failure, they run towards it. They fail fast and often so they can learn from it, and now they can go through it. So I'm going to give y'all the game, but I want to also tell you that it ain't going to be easy. There will be times where you will fall on your face, but never let that deter you from doing good. So here's the game. Remember, I told y'all it's time, energy, and effort. When it comes to time, I want you to remember this. Ask yourself, how do my gifts allow me to better impact the community? The first thing I want you to do, Chad already told you y'all all got a gift. How do you take that gift and how do you use that gift to impact the community? The next question I want you to ask yourself, are my efforts going to positively or negatively impact my access? Everybody say access. The issue with time, energy, and effort is that you have to have access and freedom over those things in order to tap into it. You lose or you negatively impact your access when you chase after things that are fast and cheap. Had a dude working on the crib, and he was like, hey, Mr. Collins, how do you want this done? We could do it 2 or 3 ways. You can have 2, but you can't have all 3. It can be good, fast, and cheap. Which 2 are important to you? He said, because if it's good and fast, it won't be cheap. If it's cheap and fast, it won't be good. And if it's good and cheap, it won't be fast. Some of y'all will get that later. Ask yourself, how am I managing my time? Because the way you manage your time determines how much access you have to your time, energy, and effort. The next thing I need you to do is I need you to ask yourself right now. So you want to be the greatest boxer of all time, right? Come here, hustle up. Come on around here. Hustle up. Come on out that way. Here's what I want y'all to do. I want you all to do this exercise with every single goal that you have. What's your name? Come on. Alessandro, right? Alessandro, what does it take to be the greatest boxer of all times?
Well, you have to be good.
Okay. How do you get good?
By working hard.
Work hard at what?
Boxing.
What else?
School.
What else?
Dedication.
Dedication. I like that. Okay. What else?
Also, that's all I got.
Okay. That's all I got. He's like, hey, man, quit putting me on the spot. Y'all get, well, come on. Y'all give Alessandro, come back. Y'all give Alessandro a round of applause. Now, Alessandro, I'm about to give you some game real quick. You want to be the greatest boxer of all time. So not only do you have to do well at school and do well at boxing, but you have to be more specific. See, we have a lot of ideas and concepts. We got a lot of goals, but we're not specific enough. Now, Chad told you to write it down. I'm going to tell you a little bit different. I want you to write it down and put a date on it. I want you to put a date on it, and then I want you to write down how it's supposed to look and how it's going to feel when you accomplish that goal. So not only do I want you to be good at boxing, but I want to be more specific. I want you to learn how to work on your jab. Then I want you to learn how to bob and weave. I want you to learn how to parry. I want you to get on the jump rope. I want you to be in shape, and I want you to get conditioned. You got to work on your footwork. You got to run 5 miles a day. You got to work on your diet. You got to make sure you get all the things right physically and mentally, because that's what it takes to be the greatest of all times in boxing. Now, because I am specifically giving him a blueprint to win, now he has to make sure that he puts in the time, energy, and the effort. Alessandro, how old are you? 11. I'm telling you, Alessandro, right now, that in order for you to be the greatest of all times, the key is right there. You just got to go take it. In order for you to be the greatest of all times, Alessandro, I'm telling you, the key is right there on that speaker. You just got to go take it. I'm telling you that the key for you, that's what take it. Take it. Stop. He's like, all right, well, I'm going. That's yours. Everybody give Alessandro a round of applause. The key for y'all to be great is already laid in front of you, but you got to take the time, energy, and effort to go do it. Something about what you do has to stand out. That boy didn't say, I just want to be a boxer. He said, I want to be the greatest of all times. What? You got to stand out. Stop trying to be like everybody else, man. Your vision and your goal and your dream was designed to make you elevate not just yourself, but your people, your culture, your community. Stop trying to be like everybody else. We got enough. We need you. Everything the game is missing is right here in this room. I need you to ask yourself, how do my gifts help my community? How do I prepare myself for the future? And how do I make sure that I step into where I am so that I can be the greatest version of myself? I need you to focus on your time, your energy, and your effort. And if I could get 3 minutes, I got one last thing I want to say. We talk too darn much. I don't want to have another summit, another panel, another speaker. I don't want anybody else to come here next year ever again. As a matter of fact, before you come here again, you should have to pay a tax. I should be able to see the results of all of this knowledge. You should have to be able to prove that you actually put in some work before you step inside this building again. Y'all stop wasting these people's time. Y'all stop wasting my time. Man, listen, I ain't bragging, but I don't step out the door for less than $12,000. Don't waste my time, my energy, and my effort. If you're not going to show and prove, if you're not going to do something, if you're not going to put in the work, why are you here? I'm tired of talking. Our community is tired of the panels. Our community is tired of hearing it. You're about to see why we need to stop talking, why we need to start making sure that we do the action. Man, if y'all don't put together some time, energy, and effort, we ain't got to wait till tomorrow till you're 30 to win. You can win right now. I love y'all like a fat kid love cake. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, repeat after me. Time, energy, effort. Time, energy, effort. One more time. Time, energy, effort. Yeah, let's take a selfie with our brother Chris.
Okay? I do this before every speech or afterwards. So look, everybody stand up real quick. I got to say hi to my mama. All right, so I want y'all to say Smarten Up Black Male Summit, and then I'm going to say hi to my mama, okay? All right, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. I love you, mama. Serious, if I don't do that, I get in trouble.
All right. He said if he didn't do that, he was going to get in trouble. Give it up for brother Chris Collins. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Time, energy, and effort. Well, let me say that on behalf of the Black Male Summit, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Thank you so much for the powerful energy that you brought into this building. And thank you so much that the effort that you put forth to be here. Thank you so much for that effort. But I want to thank you in advance for the effort that you are going to put into putting into practice what you've learned today. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, we're approaching the moment that we've all been waiting for. This is our final speaker. This is our final speaker. So after this, you're free to go, but don't run up out of here too fast. All right? The speakers that you saw presenting, many of them will be around. If you want to get in contact with them, or you got a question for them, or you think they may be able to mentor you to get you to the next level, make sure that you approach them because they are very much approachable. Question, how many of you got a raffle ticket on your way in? Raise your hand. All right, awesome. So I got $500 worth of gift cards in my hand. courtesy of the Houston Health Department, right? So you have to stay to the end. You got to stay to the end in order to get your raffle number called so you can get one of these $50 gift certificates. Now, you got to stay to the what? To the end. But trust me, when this brother gets started, you ain't going to want to move, all right? So our next presenter is known to most of us. And for those of you who don't know him, today is your lucky day, or should I say it's your blessed day. Our brother Reginald OG1 Gordon he's an activist. He is a gang interventionist. I think that's what they call it, interventionist. He's what's called a peer support specialist. That's who he is now. But this brother spent 19 years in the Texas Department of Corrections, AKA prison. And he came out after 19 years in jail and hit the ground running to make certain that as many as he could reach and reroute wouldn't go in that same direction. I want to give my brother his flowers while he lives. He has been doing that since he's gotten out of prison after doing 19 years. Give him a round of applause for that. And join me as I bring to the microphone Reginald OG1 Gordon. He's got a message for you.
First of all, thank you, brother. Before I get started, if you're 10 years old to 17, stand up. If you're 10 to 17, stand up. Will you walk out and walk up front here for a minute? Walk out where you at, young ladies and young men. Walk out, walk up front for a minute. If you're 10 to 17, I need all 10-year-olds and 17-year-olds in front of me right now. Let them in there. Come on down. Come on. That's how they do it in the penitentiary. Everybody get tight in the penitentiary. Move it down. We need to understand this now. This is how brothers are living downtown. And I want our grown folks to see. Some of us didn't hear what the brother said earlier. 53 of our young people up under the age of 17 and under we lost this year. 53 of them. Somehow we didn't went to sleep. Listen, young people. I went to the juvenile detention center. Listen to the young people. They're 10 years old and over, about your age. They keep them locked up. They keep them locked up in chains for 23 hours a day in a room about big as your closet. You stayed in a room about big as your closet. By them not having enough staff, they make the young people urinate in a soda water bottle because they keep them locked up because they become so angry, disgusted with not dealing with themselves. Y'all can sit down. Thank y'all. Parents, how many of these can we give up? How many more can we give up? How many more are we willing to give to this system? And I forgot to tell you, each one of those young people that was standing before me in the system that we have here right now is worth $441 per day. Before I get started, my name is Reginald Gordon. They call me OG1. By the age of 16, Houston Harris County had gave me 4 50-year sentences. By the age of 16, Harris County had given me 4 50-year sentences and sentenced me to prison for aggravated robbery. And what I'm telling us as a community, my problem didn't start when I picked up the pistol. When I picked up that pistol and ran in them people's store robbing them people. My problem started as a young person, like I tell most people, look here, hurt people hear things differently. Listen what I'm saying. Hurt people hear things differently. And see, a lot of us don't know at a young age, when we affect our young boys, our young girls, with the behaviors of the neighborhood. We wear masks the rest of our life to fit into a world that we know that people don't accept us. So we walk around with this trauma. And we got a lot of young men that I deal with today live behind the mask. I had everything, my mother did everything in her world to try to save me from the streets. But I had what Brother Deric is doing here today. I had no strong male leadership in my life. And I gravitated, like most of the young brothers do today, they gravitate towards brothers that give them information to make them feel empowered. And as I gravitated to the brothers that made me feel worthwhile and empowered, I got hooked up at a young age in what you call a gang on the southwest side of Houston. As I was running with these brothers, living the life that they chose that I live, like I said, by the age I quit school in the 7th grade, by the age of 16, I was headed to a unit on Central Unit in Sugar Land, Texas. And while I was there on that unit in Sugar Land, Texas, I had what you call, how many of you young people got an anger problem? Let's be real, keep it real. How many of y'all got an attitude problem and anger problem? Can't nobody tell you what to do. I don't care. How about you, bro? You handle your attitude pretty good? You tried to? What about you, bro? You handle your attitude pretty good? Sometimes. Well, I couldn't handle my attitude. I would always go from anger to rage. How many of y'all know what I mean by going from anger to rage right quick? I don't care. Call the law. Kicking the door. Mama, I don't care I don't care no more. How many of y'all go from anger to rage right quick? Do y'all know that's dangerous? How about you, bro? You go to anger to rage right quick? Well, that anger to rage got me caught up in a lifestyle to where I wasn't expected to go to prison at the age of 16. How many of y'all looking to go to prison? Let's keep it real. Sometimes with the new wave that we have here, a lot of the young men I see like that lifestyle because it goes along with the music that they listen to. Let's keep it real. Some of the young brothers that I deal with feel like they're not capable of fitting in unless you got an X on your back. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about prison, young man. How many of you ready to go? How many of y'all ready to pack this kind of stuff up your behind? Let's keep, Where you at? Where the hands at now? See, when you get down now, like, this mother, I get calls all the time from mothers that ask me the name of my son that was killed in jail. Don't nobody want to speak his name no more. How do I keep his name out there? Because my son died in jail unjustly. This young brother here, right here in Harris County Jail, this year alone, it's been 27 killings in the jail. Right here in Harris County. And these mothers call me and ask me, please let people know and speak the name of my son that died in Harris County Jail, because when I call up there, they don't want to tell me anything on what happened to my son. So what I'm trying to get you brothers that's living the life like to smoke that weed, like to pop them P30s. Anybody know what P30s is? I'm the only one know what P30s is? What is P30s, player? Perk. Look at it. You know the street name of Perk. And so let's deal with that. Let's deal with that on the drug side of it. I'm gonna be skipping around because I ain't got that. I got a few minutes. I usually speak for about 3 hours, but I got a few minutes. I'm gonna speak around. But listen to me. Anybody know who this young beautiful lady is at the top? Who is this? Master P's daughter. Yes. Anybody know what happened to Master P's daughter? Yes, sir. Drug overdose. Have anybody ever heard of the campaign that's going around Houston called One Pill Kills? Come on, see, we out here in this world. Have anybody, do everybody have one of these in your car? Do grown folks, they give us information all the time. I work in the I work in the drug field, and it requires anybody know what this is? What is this, bro? Narcan. Anybody know what Narcan is for? Yes, sir. Overdose. When people are going through overdose, do we know that right now in Houston, about us sitting right here at the border, that fentanyl drug is in everything? It was a young group in the Woodlands a couple of weeks ago. Young brother sold some weed with some illegal fentanyl in it, and they killed 2 of the young people down there. Again, my mother did everything in her power to try to save me from going to. How many of y'all is very disrespectful at home? Don't you hear? So I got the good crowd today. I got all the people that go to church to do well. Huh? I got all the ones that don't skip at school. Huh? Ain't nobody skipping school. Ain't nobody doing nothing illegal outside the family. Ain't nobody breaking no rules in here today. Thank you for keeping it real, bro. Look here, young bro. Do you expect your life to keep going the way it's going if you say you're breaking the rules? My first 4 years in prison, because I had what you call an attitude problem, then I got it up here, because I couldn't hold my anger, because I couldn't adjust to the world that I had put myself in prison. My first 4 years in prison, I was put in what you call solitary confinement. Anybody know what solitary confinement is? Young people, you know what is solitary? Huh? It's a padded room. Yes, sir. Yes. It kept me there for 4 years. They only let me out for 1 hour a day. Can you imagine being in your closet for like 4 years? And they slide your food up under the door. I'm getting a lot of y'all ready, because a lot of, in the Harris County jail right now, it's 821 young black and brown men in prison jail right now. Look here, 821 right down there right now. And half of them are cramped in the cell. They've been in there for 2 or 3 years. Half of them are catching COVID. But the question comes back to you. You free, am I right? Again, 4 years in a cell called solitary confinement. While I was in that cell for 4 years, I didn't go into my depression and let my depression take me down. I came up with some great ideas while I was in prison at the age of 16. I kept telling myself, I kept doing what I wasn't capable of doing, because when I first went to prison, I had what you call dyslexia. Couldn't read. Yes, sir. You know what it is? Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's why I quit school in the 7th grade, because I couldn't deal with what was going on in the schoolroom, because I felt like didn't nobody understand me. But while I was in solitary confinement, I found myself reading in books, and I found myself, by the time I was released from solitary confinement, they shipped me off that unit. And once they shipped me out that unit, I came up with an idea and a program called Scared Straight. Anybody ever heard of that program called Scared Straight? I came up with an idea in prison, and I put that program, HBO came and videoed me, and we put that program all over the country, bringing young people in jail and in prison to get them to understand that this is not a place that you want to be. But I'm going to tell y'all, and I'm going to be straight up with a lot of us in here. Some of us have, young brothers, listen to young brothers, some of us feel like we not like unless we get involved with people that we call so-called friends. The so-called friends that you're dealing with in Texas, they got a law called the Texas Laws of Party. Anybody who knows what the Texas Laws of Party is? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You know what Texas law is 40? Well, guilty by association. That means if me and you together, player, you saying you my homeboy. You saying I come to your house and knock on your house. Your daddy told you don't go with that boy. Stay your ass in the house. That boy ain't no good. You hear? Hey, have you heard? That boy ain't no good. Stay away from him. Daddy, you don't know what you're talking about. It's my homeboy. And he can't tell me what to do. I go do something stupid and crazy, robbing a store. And I got a friend, a homeboy up here, what I work with. His mama told him the same thing. Went to the store, grocery store. He sit in the car. He bamming the music. His homeboy go in the store. He sit in the car, watch his homeboy go in the store, rob the man in the store. He shoot the man in the store. He's sitting in the car. What would you do? What would you do, player? You see that apple. What would you do, player? Right there. What would you do? You with your homeboy. You see him going there and rob the man in the store. Huh? You snitching? Oh, no. What you mean you? See, that's what I'm talking about. You see how quick they say, oh, I'm not no snitch. Say, let me tell you something. I'm not going to do not one day for you. I'm finna tell on you, your brother, your sister. And that's what, look here. That's what's happening now. You ain't got no homeboy when you go to jail. Oh, I ain't no snitch. All of a sudden, what you gonna do? You gonna sit there and go to jail with it? Young people, I bring all this stuff with me everywhere I go. I just want the parents to know that this stuff is being laced. Watch your children and how they get candy now. I'm gonna leave on this note. Black people, black men. Somebody gave me some handcuffs. I think they were made in the 1800s. Look, I got a pair around my neck, black folk stuff. And I got a pair that was made in the 1800s. It said, for Negro women and children only. See, it just moved a different way. It come from this, it come from this. Because again, just like Brother Deric said, and what the paper you tore up, we got to stop making excuses for our behavior. Your brother got to be your best friend. He's got to be your comforter. He got to be somebody you can relate to. Watch the people you declare to be your friends. And if you got problems that you're dealing with that you can't open up and talk to somebody about, we have a youth facility on the east side of town, OG1. Get in contact with me, young brothers. We do what you call a brotherhood breakfast. If you got mental issues that you can't talk about, self-esteem issues that you need to talk about, call us so we can work with you, because you know what? It don't take but 1 second to commit a crime. Listen to what I'm saying, young brother. It don't take but 1 second to commit a crime. And it'll take you 19 years or even longer to get out of that one crime that you committed. I did 19 years and 9 months in prison. They let me out with $50, told me to go back in my neighborhood and survive. Do you think that may be a reason why a lot of these brothers getting out of jail, coming back being mad at us? We got to do better, community. And the young brothers, you have no excuse, because you got all the brothers in the world you can reach out to. And we can do this thing and move our community forward. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Thank you, Don.
Come on, y'all can do better than that for original OG1 Gordon. Yes. Prevention before detention, all right? So we're going to give away the gift cards. If I could have my assistant, Sister Kamisha, come. Let's give Sister Kamisha a round of applause for all the hard work she put into the Black Male Summit. Everybody take out your ticket. Take out your ticket. Now, am I reading the last three letters or? Yeah. So I'm gonna read the last three letters. 438. Anybody got 438? All right, 438's not here. Let's keep going. We got to move expeditiously. 420. 420. Some of y'all like them or those them numbers. 420. That's an inside joke. All right. 414. 414. You got 414? Come on up. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, okay, okay. 414. What's your name, sir?
Josiah.
All right, Josiah, handsome joker. All right, $50 gift card from the Black Male Summit. Give Josiah a round of applause. Let's keep it going because we got to exit the building. 464. 464. All right. 392. 392. All right, my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Walaikum salam, sir. What's your name, my brother?
Ali Muhammad.
Oh, yes, sir. All praises due to Allah. There you go, brother Ali Muhammad. Man, we pray it helps. $50 gift card from the Black Male Summit. 470. 470. All right, come on up, little man. Yeah, come on up, little. Come get your money. Yes, sir. I know this little brother right here. Yes, sir. There you go. Gift card from the Black Male Summit. Tell everybody your name, sir.
Luke.
Say, what is it?
Luke.
Yeah, brother Luke. Let's give brother Luke a round of applause. Luke got some money. All right, 465. 465. Make sure you're looking at your ticket. All right, you passing up money. You letting good money go to waste, as my grandmother would say. 376. 376. Okay, my brother right here got 376. Give him a round of applause. Man, when you see a black man get money, give him a round of applause. What's your name, brother?
James.
All right, shout out to brother James. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, what we got next, Kamisha? 391. 391. All right, my brother, he was sitting up front too. Yes, sir. God bless you. Okay, there you go. Yes, sir. No problem. Now, to the grown men that's getting the gift cards, we're not going to be mad at you if you give one of the gift cards to one of the young great ones around here. It's yours to give now, but I'm just saying. 440. All right, 440. All right, come on, brother. Come on, bro. Come on down. Come get your money. Let's give him a round of applause. What's up, soldier? What's your name, sir?
Jason.
Jason, how old are you? 16? All right. All right, Jason. Don't spend it all in one place, my brother. 388. 388. Let's move expeditiously. We got to get up out of here. 388. Oh, I apologize. Oh, my sister. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, 388. What's your name, ma'am?
Leah. I would like to give this one to the little guy that said he wanted to be the greatest of all time, the boxer.
Man, that's beautiful. She giving back. He getting all kind of money today, boy. I'm gonna have to ask him to hold something. 415. 415. All right, all right. Is this okay? I think. But don't move suddenly like that, bruh. 404. 404. Okay, 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 okay. The big 404. Yes, sir. What's your name, young brother?
Zeldin.
How old are you?
16.
All right. Zeldin, we expect nothing but greatness from you. All right, my brother? All right. I told him we expected nothing but greatness. You know what he told me? He said, for sure. I like that. All right. 447. 447. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We got 447. Let's give 447 a round of applause. Big money. What's your name?
Khalil Hill.
Khalil Hill. How old are you, sir?
I'm 10.
10 years old. You know we expect nothing but greatness from you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, for sure. Let's give it up for Khalil Hill. One more. 441. 441. Is it? Give it up. All right, all right. 441. What's your name, sir?
Malachi.
Malachi, that's a powerful name. All right, Malachi, young king. We expect nothing but greatness from you. You know that, right? All right, let's go. All right, let's give it up for the young brothers who came and got their money today. Now, if we could ask, okay, yes, sir. If we could ask our dear brother student, regional minister, Brother Abdul Halim Muhammad, to come up and close us out in prayer. Also, all right, everybody listen up before we close out, because we are running way behind time. We have a free coding class. A free coding class that this brother Dr. Ty, is going to be executing online. If you're interested in learning how to code, it's a free coding class. We're going to give him 2 minutes to tell you about it, and then we're going to say prayer and close out.
How y'all doing today? I'll be real quick. So we have 2 classes given away free. All right, your blackness is your wealth. That's one of the points that the world is not telling you. Your blackness is your wealth. So we're going to teach you how to convert your blackness into wealth, all right, with applied black consciousness. That class is going to start on January 30th of next year, right before Black History Month. It's going to replace your Black History Month and take you on into the year so that we can be held accountable by Brother C, because he said we got the next Black Summit to get something together and come back with evidence and proof, right? So we're going to show you how to do that, convert your blackness to wealth. On the other side, this flyer's in your bag. If not, you can pick one up at the table. The other side is the Black Matrix Coding Squad. You have to own your media, own and control your media in order to convert your blackness to wealth. So we're going to teach you how to code. And this is software engineering style code. So you'll be able to build platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and websites and all of those other things and go straight to the money. Everybody want the bag, right? All right, I'm gonna show you how to get it. All right, so this card is in your bag. One side is the Applied Black Consciousness. The other side is the Black Matrix Coding Squad. And this is all on behalf of young Black warriors. So you can thank my brother here, my nephew here.
All right, let's give it up. Make sure you get the card from inside your bag. And if you're interested in the class, because coding is the future, y'all. Technology is the future. So you can say that you came to the Black Male Summit and got a free code to go to a coding class that will teach you a new skill set that can make you rich, powerful, and everything else that you want to be. Now, if we could, let's ask all of the children, all of the youth, all of the youngsters to come down front. We're going to close out in prayer. And after we close out in prayer, please exit the building as fast. I'm talking about expeditiously. Sound like T.I. As fast as possible, because we've got another event going on and they're trying to come in. So thank you so much for your time and your patience. And I hope everybody got something from the Black Male Summit today, because I sure did. All right, come on, youngsters down front. Come on. If you could be a 40-year-old youngster, you can come down front too. All right. Yes, sir. So we're going to have Student Minister Abdul Halim Muhammad. He's going to close us out, and that's going to be that.
Come on down, all the adults. Stretch your hands out to the youth. Stretch your hands out to the youth. This is the Joshua generation we're giving birth to. They're the ones that's going to lead us into the promised land. But first, they got to be taught the knowledge of self and what we went through under Pharaoh and wandering in the wilderness. They're going to take us in the promised land. Let us pray. In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful, O Allah, we beseech thy help, we ask thy mercy. For we believe in you and we trust in you for all that we need. We help us in your cause with your apostle. Please grant us success. We seek refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek refuge from cowardliness and niggardliness. And we seek refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice thou us with what is lawful. Keep us away from what is prohibited. And with your grace, make us free of want of all that is besides you. We ask for blessings on this Black Male Summit, on Brother Deric and all the presenters. We ask that you would bless this generation to pull up their pants, not because we don't want them sagging, but pull up their pants because they got to cross the Jordan River and they don't want to get their pants wet. Bless them, God. Watch over them, protect them, love their parents, respect your parents, honor and respect your mother and your father, and let's buy the hood
and not leave the hood. We greet you in peace. We love you, God. Amen.
All right. Peace and blessings, you all. Grab a box lunch on the way out. The box lunch